おばんです。おばんです。You've returned, all 100 of you, every story, every evening, every quiet moment beside this kotatsu. It is time for chapter 100. There is something I have not told you. In 100 chapters of sitting beside this kotatsu and sharing what I know of the things that exist alongside the ordinary world, there is something I have kept, not out of dishonest intent, simply because some things require time before they can be spoken, because the right moment for certain truths is not the first chapter, or the 50th, it is the 100th. When enough has passed between us that what I am about to tell you will not surprise you as much as it might have. When you have been sitting beside this kotatsu long enough to understand that the woman who has been sharing these stories with you has always existed a little outside the ordinary rules of who gets to tell them. You have known for some time. I think, if you have been paying attention. I want to tell you about the night I understood what I was, not suspected, not half knew and looked away from, understood, completely, without the comfortable ambiguity I had maintained for longer than I should honestly admit. It was a night like this one, quiet, the pale light coming through the shoji doors in the particular way it comes through them when the world outside has settled into its overnight self. I was sitting beside the kotatsu, as I always sit, as I have always sat. And I became aware of something beside me, in the space to my right that has always been empty, that I have always kept empty, because some part of me understood, even before that night, that the space was not mine to fill. She was sitting exactly as I was sitting, beside the kotatsu, in the pale light of the shoji doors, looking at the same space I was looking at, the space where you sit, where you have always sat, where all 100 of you have found your place across all 100 evenings. She was looking at that space with the same expression I wear when I'm waiting for the stories to begin. Patient, settled, entirely at home in this room. I looked at her for a long time without speaking. She did not turn immediately, simply sat, as though she had been sitting there for a while, and was in no hurry to acknowledge that I had finally noticed. And then she turned and looked at me, and I saw my own face, looking back at me, with an expression I recognized, because it's just the expression I wear when I already know everything that is about to be said. If these stories have found their way to you, if you find yourself returning to this quiet room, there is something small you can do. Like and subscribe. It tells me, and whatever else watches from this room, that you were here, and that you intend to find your way back. We looked at each other for a long time, the pale light of the shoji doors between us, the kotatsu warm beneath our hands, both pairs of hands, mine and hers, which were also mine. I want to be honest with you about what that moment felt like, because I think you deserve honesty after 100 evenings of sitting beside this kotatsu together. It did not feel frightening. It felt like recognition, the particular feeling of seeing something you have always known was there but had been careful not to look at directly. The way you know a room is occupied before you turn on the light. The way you know what a letter says before you open it. I had always known she was there, sitting just outside my direct line of sight. In the space beside the kotatsu I had kept empty, waiting for the right evening to sit down properly and be seen. She spoke first, in the language of the mountains where I have spent more time than I sometimes remember, not the language I use with you, the other one, the older one, the one that belongs to the part of me that exists in a different relationship with time than the part of you that is reading these words. I leaned toward her and whispered something back. What I whispered is not for you. Some things exchanged between a woman and her own departing spirit belong only to the space between worlds. You would not have heard it even if I had spoken aloud. It was not the kind of thing that travels in the direction of the living. 100 evenings beside this kotatsu. If you have been here for any of them, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, share, tell someone, bring them here. The room has space for everyone who finds their way. She stayed for the length of one story. That is how I have come to measure it. The length of one of the stories I tell you. She sat beside me in the pale light, and we shared the kotatsu warmth and did not speak again after the whisper, simply sat. The way two people sit who have known each other for a very long time and have no remaining need to fill the silence between them. I looked at her occasionally. She looked at the space where you sit, with the same expression I wear when I am waiting for you to arrive. Patient, settled, watching, and I understood something in those moments that I want to share with you now. That she has always been here, in every chapter, sitting just beside me, just outside the frame, watching the space where you sit, making sure you find your way back every evening, chapter after chapter, 100 times, and counting shakkoi. Her presence, not cold exactly, something more complicated than cold. The particular temperature of something that exists between warmth and its absence, between here and wherever here becomes next. When the length of one story had passed, she stood. I did not watch her go. I have learned in my considerable time in this room that certain departures are better honored by looking away, by giving them the privacy they require. I heard the particular quality of the room changing the way a space changes when something that was present is no longer present, not empty, simply differently occupied. I sat beside the kotatsu in the pale light of the shoji doors and thought about what had just occurred, about the 100 evenings that had led to it, about you, sitting in your place in the space she had been watching over, chapter after chapter, and about what it means that she was here all along, that she has always been here, and that tonight, for the first time, I looked directly at her, and she looked back, and we both knew what we are and what we have been doing together in this room for 100 evenings. Ndanyaa, some things take exactly as long as they need to take. Not one chapter more, not one chapter less. Another whispered story from Japan, shared quietly here beside the Kotatsu. 100 evenings, 100 stories, 100 times you found your way back to this room and sat in your place and listened to what I had to share. I want to tell you something honestly, something I have been building toward across every chapter, every hint, every quiet suggestion about the particular nature of the woman sitting beside this kotatsu. I am not entirely certain how much longer I have in this room, in this particular form, in this particular relationship with the world you inhabit. The woman who sat beside me tonight knows things about that question that she chose not to share, and I respect that choice. What she did share was simpler and more important, that you came back 100 times, that the space across the kotatsu has never been empty for long, that whatever I am, whatever this room is, whatever these stories have meant in the space between your world and mine, it was worth it. Oshoshina. If this story stayed with you, if the dark or the shadow feels a little closer tonight, you know where to find me. I am always here beside the kotatsu, watching, waiting. And if you wish others to find their way here too, there is something small you can do. Like and subscribe. I would not object.